Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted, man. What the fuck?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 96 of the Topless Robot podcast. My name is Ryan.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Brooks.
Dan.
And it's been a week since it's been 2 weeks for Dan.
I was going to say, what? How's it been 2 weeks? I did what? Did I miss a week? What happened?
The cryo-sleep functioned and you were technically dead for about 20 minutes.
Why did it have to be technical? We could have just gone all the extra mile.
So there are a few things that have been in the news this past week. One of which, though, which looks kind of rad, is there's going to be a Lego set for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so you build an NES console and a cartridge. Everything's functional. It even hooks up to a TV where you crank on the side and it makes a Mario thing. It actually puts Mario through a course on this thing. And if you have the current Super Mario Lego thing where there's that smart Mario, you can put him on the top of the TV and it'll play the music.
What?
Yeah, it's
That's so
ridiculous.
Weird.
It looks seriously
It's
cool.
going to be something that people will build, use once, never use again.
Yeah, I mean it's same as any of my collector bullshit that I have around the house. That's its entire purpose. That is its lifespan.
Now that we've grown up and don't have imaginations anymore, Dan, that's all that Legos are good for. We can't all continue having Space Wars.
What are you
with our
talking
fucking
about?
Lego shit, okay?
I play Minecraft.
Sorry, you're an old bastard. I might be a salty old dickhead, but I can still have fun with my imagination, Tyler.
Yeah, for real.
Well, aren't you fucking special?
No, nobody's special, Tyler.
You ableist dickhole?
That's what makes us special, is that we're not.
Wow!
Ba-dum-bum.
Thanks, Brooks.
Welcome to the Nihilist Topless Robot podcast.
God is
I'm an
dead.
absurdist, sir.
Where nothing matters and the rules are made up.
Welcome to my Friedrich Nietzsche podcast, where I do nothing but read aloud Antichrist.
I'm sorry, it's pronounced Friedrich Kroger.
But on that same topic of the NES, we saw a record auction for an original boxed and wrapped, sealed original Super Mario Brothers NES game. Went for $118,000 at auction.
Jesus.
Type of things I roll my eyes at, because I don't get it.
Speaking of things that will go on a shelf and never be seen again.
Yeah, right. But I mean, what kind of blows my mind on that is, I mean, I get the desire as a collector to have a complete box, right? Having the original instruction manual and stuff like that. It can be kitschy and it can be a cool portal into a very specific era of gaming. But to me, I understand the appeal of a new inbox sealed old action figure, right? All the presentation and everything is all part of what makes that special. But for a video game, not too much to me, and especially for the cartridge on its own is probably one of the most common cartridges out there.
That's what I was going to say. That's why I'm surprised that went for so much, because they produced so many of those things that they're worthless if they're not in box.
Yeah.
You get them for like $1.
Yeah, right. If that.
Yeah. Especially if it's a Mario Bros. Duck Hunt combo. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
right. Or the very special Mario Bros. Duck Hunt track and field combo.
Ooh.
That's what I had growing up. I had the track and field pad.
I think
special?
this whole idea of just like
Just had Mario and Duck Hunt and had to blow in like it was rusty by the time I got it.
I think
Uphill and snow both ways.
I think that sale of that fully inbox game, I think that just proves that once you get to a certain amount of money, it just you don't know what to do with it anymore.
Yeah, sure.
You're paying to get to brag that you have something that was designed for people to use that hasn't been used.
That you will never use, that you have no intent of using.
Yeah. I'll never understand the collector mentality. I've made that very clear. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Especially when things are that absurdly expensive.
I'll never understand the purist collector mentality like that. I like collecting neat little things, but like, you know, if you're just going to leave it in a box somewhere, fuck you.
I agree. Yeah. If something was created specifically to be used and you don't want to use it, like, fuck you. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah. And so like that is what it kind of comes down to is like with the, obviously the price is not driven by rarity. So literally the only reason that it is this much is because it is completely unused and sealed. What the fuck, man? Like, and unless, let me see if there's, because it's possible. The only other way that I could excuse this is if some of it went to like if it was a charity auction, but I don't think it was.
I wonder how they prove that it was completely unused and unsealed.
Well, it's sealed.
Like, what? Well, yeah, but I mean, you can reseal things. You just
that's
like,
true.
It's really easy to get a package that's already been opened and reseal it. Like, if you can afford to pay $118,000 for a game, you can get a packager.
I'm sure they brought in some.
Spent a vast fortune buying this thing that has never been used, and it shall never be used again. We shall never display it.
It still has like Cheeto finger dust on the inside.
Granted, there will come a time, and it'll be probably we won't be dead, but we'll be old for sure. Where stuff like that will then be like museum grade antiques. So I could see maybe in the future that being worth some money, but
yeah, it's
not really that important though.
Yeah.
I just wish I had that kind of money to be able to drop on a useless item like that.
Yeah, and I would spend it on exactly not that. I would spend it on something else. I would spend it on something that I would use, or, you know,
I would pay off my house.
I would buy an unboxed copy of Action 52.
Look, I'm assuming that if I have $118,000 to drop on something like a fucking sealed video game, that my house is paid off.
Yeah, true. But I'm saying if I had that money right now, I would pay off my fucking house.
Me too. But I don't think I'd get close.
Yeah.
I'd get somewhere close.
I would lower my mortgage payments.
To be fair, that sounds a whole bunch less exciting.
Yeah, right.
New opened Nintendo or new unopened a Nintendo game that's a classic. Lower monthly payments by a little bit.
No, that sounds way better.
Yeah, something that has like real world impact in my life.
Useful.
Yeah,
it's like when you get when you get a gift card for Christmas and you use it to buy socks. It's like yes, Christmas was a good choice, but I'm not going to get excited about it.
And it's like, the trope being like, don't get people socks for Christmas or whatever. And then you get it. So people get gift cards because they don't know what else to get you. And you turn around and get socks. It's like the perfect holiday cycle.
I want to get socks on my own terms, goddammit.
I'm telling you, as somebody whose job is run around on your feet for between 10 and 12 hours sometimes, you go through socks really fucking fast.
Yeah. My mom got me for my birthday last year, like a $50 Amazon gift card. And I turned around and got $50 worth of Kool-Aid mix. See, now that is utilitarian. That
it gets.
I broke Tyler.
You need bulk Kool-Aid mix to blend with your Mountain Dew to make your artisanal drinks.
Right?
That was interesting.
Tyler was ejected from the game.
Oh my god.
We lost Tyler.
Oh man, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
Why didn't you go in? You had your chance to get out.
I did a running leap and then all of a sudden flying backwards. Mine was on the door. No. Oh man, that was weird.
Yeah, you're right there, Chief.
Yeah.
You okay there, Tyler Chan?
That was really funny, but I feel like it caught you more off guard than it should. That sounds like something that Ryan would do.
No, it was just, I don't know what happened. Ignore me.
Ignore me.
It's like, Ryan, what'd you do today? No, I spent $50 on Kool-Aid powder.
Look, I spent $100 on Kalamata olives.
It was a birthday present. I mean, what was I going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
It sucks.
In other news, Netflix is giving away 1,000 months of Netflix subscription. Did you guys hear about this?
No, I did not. Elaborate.
So they have this new movie called The Old Guard that's about immortals. It's got Charlize Theron in it. And I started watching it and it seems interesting enough. But I kind of got bored or sidetracked like I usually do and ended up, saying, this needs more attention than I'm willing to give it right now. I'll come back when I'm ready to give it. But they have a little video game that's based on this. And if you beat the game, then, and I'm sure that there are a lot of other guidelines and stipulations, but they will give you 1,000 months of Netflix.
1,000 months, that's the ultimate Netflix prize. Whoa!
All that's telling me is especially considering it went live on Friday and considering it has not been won yet, all that's telling me is that they made some impossible video game so they'll never have to dole out, 1,000 months of free Netflix.
Well, they need to get somebody to pay for Netflix. It might as well be them.
Dude, is this a Takeshi's challenge of Netflix?
Yeah, right.
Is it just to the first person?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Let's see.
How long is this game? It's also 1,000 months long.
And it's a browser game.
By the time you get to the end, they're like, the journey was the true reward.
Just go, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I go outside. You don't need Netflix anymore.
With your final breath, you curse Netflix and then die.
Okay.
So
the person
if you
with
die in the middle of
the person with the top score when the 3-day timer runs out wins the prize.
Ooh,
so
okay.
What it is since it's the show is about immortals, you're immortal. So dying only slows you down. So it says just getting killed only slows you down. So to get the highest score, you have to defeat enemies without getting hit and as quickly as possible.
Dan's like, I didn't want to play a survival horror game. Where dying only slows him down.
It's just a reskinned version of that game in Chrome. You know, when you're disconnected from
the dinosaur. Man,
as somebody with really bad internet problems, trust me, I'm very familiar with the dinosaur game.
I'm not bad at it. I'm not bad
at it, but it's one of those games that like all it does is go faster and faster until you eventually will lose. I watched.
It's just like real life.
There's a YouTuber who I follow. Unfortunately, he really doesn't put videos out very frequently, called Code Bullet, which he does a lot of AI stuff. And like he does hilarious shit like trying to teach an AI to walk through negative reinforcement. So creates generations of AI and then creates something that kills them and then allows the last one alive to create the next generation, to be the basis of the next generation. So he uses that to train AI, and through like 30 generations, they'll get proficient at walking or at least propelling themselves forward.
That sounds like a great idea.
And so he created an AI that would play the perfect game of Snake, and that was fascinating to watch. But he also created an AI that can play the dinosaur game without losing, like at all. So it just keeps going.
Forever.
See, that's how we get Skynet. So
I don't know.
that's why he's not around, because his AI has killed him and is currently using his online body to move around.
The T-1000 can
Yeah.
Oh no, it's coming after us, and it can play a perfect game of that dinosaur offline game on Google Chrome.
It's just sprinting through a battlefield, leaping over everything in its way.
Damn, he was too fast.
Just doing the
Just screaming forever. Just around the planet. Just
No. You see, it starts off slow, right? And then you just hear like the beep, and then it just gets like faster.
just kind of doing one of these, and then gradually he's just it takes him a while to get up to speed. So you may think you have the lead. It's like that viral video of the between innings baseball race around the baseball field, where the mascot gave the challenger from the crowd like a head start, like a huge head start, and then he's just coming up behind him like crazy.
Yeah.
He's about to pass the finish line, and the mascot passes him up. It's that kind of lead up. Where it's like, oh, this was easy. I'm so far ahead. Fucking whatever. What a joke.
That's eventually how it kills you, though. It gets up to supersonic speeds and just runs through your body and kills you. So never in its path. That's the only way it does damage. You just have to stay out of its path, or it just runs
He
through.
runs so fast that he just destabilizes the molecules holding our planet together, and then everything just kind of disintegrates.
It's
I was
almost
going to
like
say, he starts running circles around you, and it makes time reverse within that circle, and you become a baby, and then you're not
you don't
a
exist.
challenge anymore. Yeah, you don't exist. All of a sudden, you turn into just a sperm and an egg, fall to the ground. My job here is done.
I just turned into an unopened pack of cigarettes.
I'm a carton of milk.
So in other things that happened this week, Henry Cavill, ever the nerd who he is really proving to the world that he is one of us, and a neckbeard.
He is afraid of women.
Yes.
So.
It's pretty on brand considering.
When he said that, it didn't make sense to me, because it's like, dude, that's the stupidest bullshit I've ever heard. And then I realized that he basically he's pretty much like Red Pill scene. So like he recently put out a video of him seductively building a computer. And it's kind of like that. Okay, so you know how to build your own PC. You're into like all these nerdy things, and you have this shitty take on hitting on women. You are just a neckbeard. Like you're an incel.
It's a little weird. It's a little
And
weird.
he's Superman.
Yeah, and The Witcher.
His name is Geralt. Okay, get it right, Ryan. Okay.
The Witcher.
Do you play as Zelda when you when you're playing Zelda games, Ryan?
Yeah, it's Green Zelda.
Tyler, is he a Witcher? I'm pretty sure he's a Witcher, and I would argue that he is the Witcher,
The Witcher.
the titular Witcher.
Wait, I thought he was The Witcher 3.
The Wild Hunt.
The wild cunt.
Oh.
He said a swear on a television program.
This is a child-friendly podcast, Ryan.
So I've seen so many, responses to the, Henry Cavill building a PC thing, and just most of it is people like swooning over the fact that he's a nerd, and it's just he's not one of us. I'm sorry to whoever needs to hear this. He's not one of us. Or unfortunately, he is, and he's part of a very specific section of the nerd community that we should all shun. Yeah, it's. See, now Terry Crews building a PC. I'm all about that to a certain degree because
a little bit.
He's got some hot takes. He's definitely got some hot takes, but he's learning, which is good.
Can we just stop putting celebrities on a pedestal and just admit that a lot of them are flawed, stupid people, and the only reason we know about their lives is because they're in the public eye, but not for anything that's really of note. It's just, not saying that being an actor is not something of note, but it's not really a thing that should give us a reason to idolize them,
Sure.
We shouldn't expect them to be perfect people. They're artists, they're artists that got to a certain point.
I don't expect Henry Cavill to be a perfect person. I chastise and deride him in the same way I would if you turned out to be a neckbeard.
That's fair. I meant mostly people that are just. We put so many people on a pedestal and then just are absolutely flabbergasted when they come out and they're not exactly good people. It's like, just, they're not good. They're not going to be good people.
I think that comes from hoping for the best, just in any encounter that I have with any person, I hope for the best. I hope that you're not going to be a dickhead, the first time that I meet you, that you're not going to, be a racist, for example, or be, or be a Trump supporter or something like that. Like that kind of shit. I hope for these kinds of basic things. And sometimes I'm proven wrong and sometimes I'm not. And, I certainly can't pretend that I haven't done anything terrible in my life. And I don't think any of us can. But, to still have lines and limits for social expectations in your friends group, or even in those you idolize or whose work you admire. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being disappointed when proven wrong.
That's fair. I guess I would be really disappointed if Tom Hanks came off that pedestal.
Yeah, right?
Also, in general, most people just suck, and that's not unique to celebrities.
Yeah, right.
They sucked before they were famous. They just happened to get famous. I don't know. I'm not surprised when it turns out another celebrity is a shithead, because most people are shitheads.
Welcome back to the Nihilist Topless Robot.
It's just a matter of whether that particular brand of shithead crosses a line, a personal moral line with you or not.
I guess so. I guess.
You know, that's
Speaking of
what it all comes down to.
speaking of being being disappointed by people that you're idolizing, the abrupt about face that Elon Musk took with Kanye this past couple weeks has been absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, and on the topic of Kanye, he's out. He's in. He's
I thought he was out.
No, he's in. Or rather, he filed with the FEC in Oklahoma, so he will be on the presidential ballot in Oklahoma.
I thought he
and
officially dropped out.
Nope.
Oh.
Well, it's between him and Joe.
The word of him dropping out didn't come from Kanye. So
it came from Jesus.
It was either today or yesterday. He did a campaign rally in North Carolina where he will not be on the ballot, and they do not have write-in candidates.
That was smart.
Yeah.
I mean, surprise, surprise. He's doing this all for his ego. That's what he does literally everything for.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, to start with, everyone thought that this was going to be a viral or, you know, a marketing attempt for for his upcoming album.
It is. It still is.
Maybe
Everything he's doing for more attention, like he always does. Because, hey, we just talked about celebrities who are shitheads. He's a great example. He's one of the perfect examples. He's awful.
Kanye, slavery was a choice. West.
Kanye believes in anti-pro-choice. West.
Yeah. Fuck, I can't remember what I was going to say. He did some abhorrent thing with regard to Martin Luther King as well. Like, I think he was changing his name or something like that. I can't even remember anymore. He does such ridiculous nonsense all the time. I haven't been on the side of Kanye since he said George Bush doesn't care about black people.
That's still one of my favorite videos to watch with Mike Myers.
Watching Mike Myers go,
what do I do here?
I was never on his side, and I never understood the appeal of him as a human being. And I think that's because everyone got into his music first. But I don't know, man.
I just think that some of his songs are neat, and that's kind of about it.
Shoopity whoop, scoopity poopity doop.
It's scoopity poop.
I didn't say that song.
That's a good old Discord bomb for me that gets dropped in our Discord a lot. The sound of a bot joining the channel sends chills down my spine at this point.
You've got bot PTSD.
Yep, we get Scoopty Poop. We get the entire audio to the first Shrek movie. God, what else?
Hey now, you're an all-star.
So for some reason, someone plays the Boost Mobile commercial all the time.
What the fuck?
Or Hello Moto. There's a lot. It just
Hello,
never
Moto.
stops.
This sounds like
we should have a bot as our guest next week.
Oh yeah, and then of course, deep fried bagpipes. No one could forget deep fried bagpipes.
Yeah. Good lord.
Is there any way we can have like viewers drop bots into our?
That is a terrible idea.
Part of the call, and no.
That is a terrible idea. That is a terrible idea.
And you know, someone will abuse that privilege to make a bot say the N-word.
That's a good point.
Terrible idea.
That's always what happens. There's always, in every single community, there's always some dude who's just waiting for his opportunity to say the N-word and ruin someone's stream.
We've already learned that lesson with our
with the grid
Jackbox
stream.
party.
Yeah, with the grid stream.
Yikes.
And targeting it specifically at the grid, saying that the grid is racist.
What the fuck?
With their Jackbox name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The grid is racist.
Yeah, right.
Interesting. Well, like I said, goes to the point. If you let randoms in, they'll always do something shitty.
Yeah, we had a great stretch there of that not being the case, though. Like,
And then someone had to ruin it. Someone always has to poop on the party.
to be fair, it's only happened once, but
Yeah.
That's the problem, though, with how sensitive a lot of that stuff is. All it takes is once, and somebody will say something to get you a good old Twitch ban.
yep. Someone joined one of our Jackbox games, and I think it was probably the same person with N-word, F-word as their name, and I was at first willing to let it go, specifically because it is a reference to a Derek comedy skit with Donald Glover, where it's a spelling bee thing, and that's the word that they have to spell, and it's it just taps people out, and it's a fucking hilarious skit. So, like, at first I'm thinking, okay, this is just someone who's, like, not very self-aware, but making a reference to something that's very funny. And then, we killed it, and we're like, yeah, fine, drop it, and start it back up. And then, if I remember correctly, that's when they rejoined as, like, the grid is racist, and was like, get fucked, dude.
Oh, man. It's so juvenile, and it's not even, like, a funny shitpost. Be creative. You can make people suffer without having to drop the N-bomb on them. And it's usually more funny if you do it another way.
It's way more funny. Be a troll in a good way. Be a troll for good, not a troll for evil.
Yeah.
Be a troll that deserves to be on top of the bridge, not under.
I thank you, sir. I will firmly remain in my home.
I was going to say.
Where I belong.
So, in other news, Microsoft is officially has a launch date for Project xCloud, and it is coming out in September, and it will be free to Game Pass Ultimate subscribers. So, if you're paying for the Game Pass / Xbox Live bundle, Project xCloud is just included in that.
Oh, tight.
So, I mean, September. It's a good way to go about doing it. I think I don't know if they ever have any intent of expanding support to desktop instead of just being like a cell phone, a game streaming service for your cell phone. But yeah, and honestly, it works pretty great. And I've got like a claw for my controller and that holds my phone on it, and it's fine. But yeah, I don't know, man.
If I want to play games on my phone, I'll just, break out my Nokia N-Gage, okay?
I no joke want to get an N-Gage, just as part of my I want to collect all the handhelds in the world, kind of thing. Like, the N-Gage was a terrible mistake that should have never happened, and it's a terrible mistake part of history that I want.
Gotta catch 'em all.
But yeah, I think it would be great if, and I doubt this will ever happen, but who knows, considering how buddy-buddy Microsoft has been with Nintendo, I'd love to see an xCloud client released on the Switch. And so you could, log into xCloud and stream games to your Switch and play them that way.
I have a feeling that will never happen, just because Nintendo's kind of a dick when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I mean, are they, though?
A little bit. I just don't see them.
Because, I mean, they have Microsoft Studio titles on the Nintendo. They have Ori and the Blind Forest on the Switch. And that relation... Nintendo has never seen themselves in competition with Microsoft nor Sony.
I guess. Just seems like something that it seems like a decidedly not Nintendo move to me for some reason. But you could be right.
To me, it seems more so a not Microsoft move.
Yeah, I agree with that.
where like Nintendo isn't like particularly restrictive of. I mean, look at the amount of shovelware that has historically come out on every single Nintendo system. Like the amount of games that came out on the Nintendo DS versus the amount of worthwhile games that came out on Nintendo DS. Like how many versions of Pets came out on Nintendo DS, and like that kind of shovelware bullshit. And yeah, exactly. Like
horses.
There's so many just $10 shovelware titles that technically they all got Nintendo's seal of approval in order to be released on the platform. And even if you dig through the Nintendo eShop, there's a billion fucking games on there that are like, who spent 5 minutes making this to sell it for $10 on the eShop? So I would expect the hesitance to come from the Microsoft end more so than the Nintendo end. Because Nintendo is just going to say, well, they're playing it on our system. Sure, they're playing Microsoft Xbox titles, but like, they're playing it on our system, so cool.
That is fair.
I think it would be rad. I don't hold out hope that it will happen, but I think it would be really cool.
Someday in the not too distant future.
And it would be a real win for budget gamers, like just buy a fucking Switch Mini and then be able to play xCloud titles on it, which are AAA titles.
Yeah, that's true.
What else has happened this week? Oh yeah, games launched the other day.
Oh yeah, duh. Ghost of Tsushima and Paper Mario came out on Friday. I have played neither of them yet. I am holding out.
Me too. I have too many games to play.
Really? I was expecting you to be a day one Ghost of Tsushima.
No, but Brooks, are you good? Were you day one?
No, I'm getting it tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Everything I've heard is absolutely glowing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff.
For as many samurai movies as I own, like I've been looking forward to this for a real long time. And they have the Akira Kurosawa mode that just puts it in black and white, and apparently that looks gorgeous. So
it puts it in black and white. That's legit.
That's pretty rad. Did you hear that Sucker Punch had to artificially inflate loading times?
Why? So artificially make it seem like the game had more time in it or something?
No, to make it, because the way that they're loading their assets is specifically as little disk access as humanly possible, and is very high efficiency. And so they were getting the game loading so quickly that the tips that show typically on the loading screens were up for a fraction of a second. So in order to let those tips stay on the screen for longer, they had to artificially inflate their loading times.
That's good.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And also such a weird...
I love it. We live in the future, guys.
And it's kind of something that, like, wonder if this next generation is going to spell the end of tip screens, like having those tips on loading screens, because loads are going to be so fast.
I mean, very rarely do those tell you anything useful anyway, so...
Sure. I found that sometimes they're useful.
Toward the end of the game, you're still getting, like, press X to duck walk or some shit like that.
Right. By the time you're, like, nearing the end of the game, it's like, look, I've already read everything that you wrote here. I know all of these things. I have been doing them. Actually, it would be kind of funny if, like, once the game detects you doing something, it stops recommending that you do it.
That'd be awesome.
That would be a good way to... an interesting thing.
But, like,
You're going to the boss fight at the end. Press square to swing your sword.
In Neon Abyss, one of the things in their loading screen is like every time you walk, like some enemies, you kill them, they turn into, like, they spill out little worms that kind of try and crawl away. If you step on those worms, every single time that you step on them, they give you a coin. So that's something that isn't immediately obvious when you're just playing through the game normally. I didn't realize until I saw on the tip screen that is what was happening. So now I make it a point to prevent them from either dying on their own or leaving the room when I'm going through, so I can, get more money. Or like where the secret rooms are. Like it tells exactly. They're like, the secret room is always going to be in a room with the most exits. I'm like, okay, shit. Thanks for that information. Like those are genuinely useful tip screens.
Personally, I enjoy tip screens because a lot of the times I'll put a game down forever and come back and I forget how to do things.
Yeah.
It's a nice little... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I was just going to make a joke. So,
we'll have no Brooks jokes here.
No levity from you, Brooks.
They don't have tip screens in Europe because, their economy just works better for people in the food industry. So,
to be fair, that's not the direction I thought you were going. I thought you were going to say they don't circumcise in Europe.
Oh. I'm a man of class, sir.
I'm equally disappointed in both of you. You both suck.
The moment Brooks said Europe, I just went. Here we go.
You've been to Europe more than I have, Dan.
Yeah, I know. That doesn't make that joke good or bad. It has no bearing on the joke itself.
It doesn't matter where you are or where you've been. It was bad.
My work here is done.
As for Paper Mario, I've heard kind of mixed things. Oh my God, Brooks. Brooks disappeared on us. As for Paper Mario, I've heard kind of mixed reviews on that. Like some people thinking, like taking issue with the fighting in it, where it's like, have you guys seen the battle style in Paper Mario? It puts the enemies on concentric rings and you can circle them around. Like you stand in the center of the ring and it puts the enemies on these concentric rings, and you can shift them. So you're basically trying to put them in a position to do the most damage with your attacks. So you can rotate the rings and you can shift them left and right. So like when they go off the screen on the left, they come up at the end of a line on the right. And so you can get like full lines of enemies and then do a special attack and wipe out, the entire line. Some people are saying that it's too simple, I think. I can't really remember what all the real critique is on it. It looks kind of interesting, almost mixing sort of a puzzle style with your battle mechanics, but...
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I know that they didn't want it to stagnate, but... Like, Sticker Star was bad. I hated that game, and I know everyone's like, fucking get over it. They're not going to make the 1,000-year door again. But, the combat's really good. Maybe don't experiment too much, because you keep fucking it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't heard anything too damning. At the most I've heard is that it's too simple. But, it's a fucking Paper Mario game. Nintendo, with their properties, for the most part, are all about accessibility. So, this is something that, a kid can easily pick up as easily as, a seasoned gamer TM.
Yeah, but think about it. I mean, where the base of that whole, Mario RPGs comes from, they've historically been really good, and they're not... baby games. It started with the Super Nintendo and led to the 7 stars, and then all of the handheld ones they made were incredible. They were great spiritual successors to them, and those kind of have been getting worse over time as well. And Paper Mario hasn't been doing great over time, so I don't know. I think they're taking them in the wrong direction if they're going for accessibility, because they have those really cool time-to-hit RPG systems, and I thought those were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Paper Mario... I mean, it feels like Paper Mario, and I know this is a completely different game, but Mario Party as well. It feels like both of them are trying to... They try to they try to innovate to the point where it's just they don't really need to. It's like I feel like so many people are clamoring for the old days of these games.
Man, at least Mario Party moved away from the everyone on the same fucking vehicle bullshit.
That was dumb.
Paper Mario or Mario Party for the Switch is actually a fairly solid return to the roots kind of thing, which is what I would have loved to see this Paper Mario a little bit more.
Yeah.
And how well did we know how well that most recent Mario Party sold? Was it super successful?
I'm pretty sure it was quite successful.
I mean, that would make sense.
I don't know
you don't
how
have to
well
reinvent
it
the wheel every time.
sold. I'm checking on Metacritic. So Paper Mario has an 81 on Metacritic, which isn't terrible. The Super Mario Party has a 76 on Metacritic, which is actually kind of surprising.
I thought I liked that. I remember.
But I remember it being pretty well received, and I've certainly enjoyed my time with it. That's the best that I can say out of that. Like after having played whatever fucking Mario Party was out on the Wii or Wii U or whatever the fuck. With the single platform movement, or single vehicle movement bullshit like that was garbage. That was such a bad decision.
Like it's Mario Party. Nobody's looking for a revolutionary experience out of Mario Party.
No.
They just want new mini games to yell at their friends over. It's not super complicated.
They want to steal fucking stars from people and end friendships. That's what they want from fucking Mario Party.
And also, they did they were smart about some of the innovations they did in the most recent Mario Party by making them just different game modes for you to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the rhythm game mode's pretty fun, and the co-op one is too, so I'm about it.
The co-op one's a blast. The 2v2, where you can move off of the normal track and choose which direction to go and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That game's fun.
Yeah. But with I understand, with Paper Mario, it's a bit more of a complex experience, and they're probably not wanting to be stagnant in that experience, but they would do well to look back at something like Thousand Year Door and what made that successful, because that was an incredible game.
It's just so weird. I feel like they innovated so quickly with Paper Mario. Like 1 and 2 were traditional RPG experiences, and then they're like, fuck that, and completely changed everything from then on. It was like
I wasn't even paying attention to the series until Thousand Year Door came out, and I was like, this looks fucking great, and it was.
They will never make another one ever again.
That's fine. I don't want them to make a fucking copy of the game. I just don't want them to make shitty games.
Yeah. Let's not, turn away from mechanics that are tried and true. Like maybe just dial it in as opposed to, switching things up in a drastic way. And and to be fair, I haven't played it yet, so I can't speak to how far removed from that mechanic that they have. But it looks like they've made pretty drastic changes to it partially.
That's what I was thinking too.
So
it looks pretty interesting. I probably will pick it up at some point when I have time. I have a billion games that I'm playing, like I said.
Yeah.
I literally played like 7 different games this week. All of which I played like for a couple hours and moved over to the next one.
So I started playing V again because it was cheap on the eShop, and I fucking love that game so goddamn much.
It's so good.
Which one is V again?
It's 6 Vs, VVV. It's Terry Cavanagh, right?
Yeah, and the entire mechanic is you flip gravity and platform. So you can't actually jump or anything. You can only flip gravity and go straight up and down.
Yeah.
It's really, really good, and the soundtrack is full of bangers.
Yup.
Oh, I recognize it.
And I was very proud of myself that it did not take multiple days to get doing it the hard way.
Doing things the hard way, man. That was a painful 30 minutes for me.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The first time I played it was on the 3DS? DS? 3DS. Must have been 3DS because it was a downloadable title on 3DS. And it took me multiple days of trying that in order to get it down. But I was very happy. Like, I got to it. I was like, because I love the entrance to doing things the hard way. You go down
It's so sassy.
and it just passes you by each of the screens that you're about to have to go through. And you're like,
Great.
Yeah.
and then you get down there and it's only for a collectible. Like it's just for completion. And you get down there and there's a collectible and then one little block
But
right
since
before.
you can't jump, you can only reverse gravity. You have to launch yourself up through this crazy series of spikes, and there's no safe place to stop.
Yeah.
So it's just this one little fucking pixel that's blocking you, and you have to do this stupid platforming
So
challenge.
you route yourself up through 3 screens of spikes and dodging, and then to a platform that will disappear the second you touch it, to then flip gravity back and navigate through it all backwards with a false end to the right.
The easier path is the one that kills you, of
Yeah.
course.
And then once you finally get down to the last screen, what happens often and did the first time I made it through all this, I landed on the wrong side of the fucking block.
And you gotta go back and do it again.
Yep. And I was so pissed. For whatever reason, the V doesn't support video capture on the Switch. So I held down my capture button when I landed. I'm like, yes, capture. And it's like, this is not supported. I'm like, no.
No, I need to show my accomplishments.
I need to show.
internet.
I need my internet points.
I mean, it's just as well. I don't know that anybody's going to care about that anymore. That game's like 10 years old.
But it's so good, and at least people who know will appreciate it. Like, I know there are plenty of people on my friends list who, like, if I even just say I started playing V again and I just finished doing things a hard way, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
Good
Like
for
that's
you,
all
bud.
I'll have to say. Yeah. I highly, highly recommend it. If you guys haven't played it, it can be super punishing at times, but if you're into platforming, it is so much fun. That is one of the rare games that I have 100% completion on.
It's worth the money, and it's also great because it's super low fidelity, so you could run it on like a potato laptop if you needed to.
Oh, you mean my laptop?
Yeah.
Yup. You can
I
load
think
it onto
so.
your potato, Brooks.
Woohoo! Potato approved. I downloaded No Man's Sky again.
So did I.
They had a new update, which
Yeah.
looks interesting. Like you go and
Desolation, isn't it?
yeah, Desolation update, and you can go into like kind of derelict spaceships that are like kind of survival horror-y, and you like learn about the derelict spaceship and shit. And it sounds kind of cool. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but
Oops, you got
I
Dead
decided to-
Space in my No Man's Sky.
exactly. Oops, all Dead Space.
I haven't really...
So many cool things to this game, like so much.
When it first came out, I sunk probably 60 hours into it. And I haven't invested a lot of time in it since they've made all these improvements. So seeing that Desolation came out, I installed it and started a new character. So are you playing on PC or are you playing on PS4?
I'm playing on PC.
We should do some multiplayer on that.
We should. I started a new character because I wanted to go back and
Yeah,
Yeah.
I literally just started a new character like yesterday. So
same. And now I just got my ship up and running. So
speaking of games that old games with updates, there's new Super Hot content
Yeah, I noticed that.
called Mind Control Delete. And if you owned Super Hot previously, you got it for free. So it just showed up in my library. And I've been thoroughly enjoying it. Some of the things that they've added are there are red dudes whose weapons are red, so you can't knock the weapons out of their hands. And there are hacks that you get to apply. So you can unlock different hacks by playing through. But some of those hacks are things like improves throwing damage, which changes the way different throwing items behave. Like with bottles, Gesundheit. With bottles, it's heavy bottles, so the bottles do more damage. With shurikens, it makes it so when you throw it and hit a person, it comes back to you, and you can throw it at the next person. So like it bounces off of them and comes back to you. There's throwable items.
I was lost for a second because you said shoryukens, and I was like,
"Oh no,
what?
no!" I said shurikens.
Shuriken. I was just so confused. I was like, are you just running around punching people? And
Actually,
throwing punches?
Actually, though, you do go around punching people because there's a new charge ability that allows you to point at someone and hit the charge, and you immediately basically teleport to them and punch them. And one of the hacks is adds a second, so like you can chain it. So if there's two people, you do the charge at the first one, it instantly kills them, and then you quickly turn to the other one, hit the charge again, and you teleport to them and kill them. So it adds a whole lot of new ways to think about playing through these scenarios. It's a lot of fun.
You just got to get your hands on a katana, and then you can live every edgy weeb's fantasy. You teleport behind your enemy and stab.
One of the hacks is start every level with a katana. One of the hacks is start every level with a random gun. Probably one of my favorite hacks is exploding throwables. So when you grab a fucking ashtray or something and throw it at someone, it explodes in shrapnel that kills everyone around it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a ton of fun. And I mean, if you liked the first Super Hot at all, it's more of the same with slight variation, and it's just a blast.
Is it super hot?
Super hot. Super hot.
I really want to play the VR version.
VR version is really cool. It's very, very cool.
What time is it? We just...
I don't even know why I get mad. I do the same exact fucking thing.
Yeah, no, you have no place to be mad right now.
Yeah, the two of you are two peas in a pod. What else happened this past week? What have you guys been up to?
Just redecorating. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't play anything this.
Really?
I mean, beyond like some Overcooked today with my roommates.
Sure.
But yeah, no games.
Overcooked is always a lot of fun.
Always
Reading and moving things around. I like rolled up like 7 posters. I'm that guy with posters in a garage.
Is that a trope? I figured that guy is the one who has those waifu posters on his walls.
No, well, you see, then I become the yard sale guy with enough of those things, and then it's just like a sad display of my 20s just out there for like $5.
selling your childhood away. I love all innocent times.
Yeah, I noticed your Casablanca. Your Casablanca's down.
I moved it.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the ones I kept.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say, did you outgrow Casablanca?
I was like kind of worried about Brooks there for a second, and that like Brooks,
that's like
are you?
In my head.
I guess this is growing up. He's just gonna like
no more Casablanca posters for Brooks.
Romance is dead.
I put away childish things.
Into the garage. Well, I mean, like I like redecorated like a lot of the downstairs. Like Meatloaf no longer adores my bathroom.
That is sinful.
Yeah.
Can we
Now I can't make the "let me pee on it" joke anymore.
I mean, I can still put it inside the bathroom.
Did you put something else on the bathroom door, or is it just
No.
blank now?
How will we know where
I
the
don't-
bathroom is, Brooks?
I
You know,
don't.
you guys have been going to the bathroom in my house for a while now. I think you know where it is.
I don't.
I'm gonna have to make the same joke every time I go over. Where's the bathroom, Brooks? I can't find it.
I don't know if I like Brooks growing up. This is.
You kind of cut out there. I can't hear you.
I don't know if I like Brooks growing up. This is worrying.
Yeah,
I
stop
mean, I
this.
still have that stuff. I didn't throw it away. I just kind of like decided I didn't want to live inside of an Applebee's for the rest of my life.
You metaphorically threw it away by you removed it from its rightful place.
This is like finding out your kid. This is like finding out your kid doesn't believe in Santa Claus anymore, and you didn't tell them. You're like, but you're growing up so quickly.
It's the end of an
supposed to
era.
have at least a couple more years left of this.
No, I don't believe in Meatloaf anymore.
He's just a guy in a costume.
And there we've got the episode title. I don't believe in Meatloaf anymore. Oh man.
I mean, I still have my weird shit out. Like here, I'll demonstrate.
I think if you're really thinking about keeping these posters off the wall, you probably should sleep on it, baby.
Oh, you were reaching. I'm sorry.
Tyler, I don't find that amusing because I don't believe in Meatloaf anymore.
It's true. Brooks doesn't sleep on anything anymore.
This right here, this is bullshit.
What he does now is he stands directly on the center of his bed and just hibernates.
He just hangs directly from the ceiling fan by his feet.
I meditated for 30 minutes and I am fitfully rested.
How about you, Dan? What have you been playing this week?
Mostly Smite, but I also picked up this game called Synthetic that's really badass. It's a top-down, like, wave shooter almost. It's either level to level or wave to wave, depending on how you play it. It's super hard. It's got multiplayer on it, and the reason I was late to the podcast by a minute or two is I was in the middle of a long round with a friend, and I always play the Demolitionist because explosions make me laugh. And I turned to him and I said, "I have no more time left. I'm so sorry." And I blew us both up with my grenade launcher.
Like in real life.
The friendly fire is always on, including for enemies. So your enemies will blow each other up all the time too. It's great. I've never beaten it though. It's really, really, really fucking hard.
Interesting.
That sounds fantastic.
I like that kind of. It sounds like a game that I'd like. I like that style. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. What'd you say it's called?
Synthetic
Synthetic.
with a K.
Ooh, edgy.
Ooh.
Synthetic.
That's how you know it takes place in the future.
I don't know if it's edgy or if it's developed by Eastern Europeans.
No,
I actually don't know where the game comes from.
Synthetic.
no, that's how you know it takes place.
Small business in Baltic state.
No, that's just how you know it takes place in the future. Because when you get past the year 2030,
got a K.
people forget how to spell.
It's German. It's made by a studio from Berlin.
That's synthetic.
There's a game that is a new Devolver Digital game that is coming out that I'm pretty excited for. It comes out on Tuesday. And I was very happy to find that it is available on Xbox Game Pass. And I should just start looking there when I'm excited for a game first, because like the second Neon Abyss went on sale, I bought it instantly. and then found out that it was also available on Game Pass. But the game that's coming out is called Carrion, where you're like a worm, like this weird monstrous bloodworm that like moves. I don't know how to describe it.
Is it heavy fucking doom metal, the game?
You're like killing humans as this giant bloodworm that acts more like a fluid, and you can shoot your tentacles into some humans and take control of them and shoot other people as that human. Like, it looks fucking rad. It looks seriously cool. But that's coming out on Tuesday. I mean, Devolver Digital.
Revolver.
Yeah.
Revolver. Revolver Original.
Revolver Original.
Is there a number of times we can say Devolver Digital where they have to become sponsors of us? Because we're on our way if there is.
Yeah, right.
Well, I wonder if they have Devolver Digital titles available in Ireland.
Yeah. Good question. In Ireland.
We're not cool enough for Devolver Digital to give a shit about us. Let's be real, guys.
Right. Something that
we gotta be more art house.
Something that I forgot to bring up last week is, in addition to like their typical, Connect style thing, their digital event stuff that they did last week, they also released a free game called Devolverland Expo, which is a way to, like, I downloaded it, but I haven't played it yet, but it shows off a whole bunch of games, and it in itself is a game.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Again, it's Devolver's MO. It's fitting.
Yep.
Let's buy this game. Devolver Digital.
Genius, Brooks. That's how we will get them to become our sponsors. Start hypnotizing all 20 people who watch us into buying their games.
Now, if those 20 people get 3 of their friends...
Oh, it could be multi-level marketers!
It's called multi-level gaming?
It is the Topless Robot pyramid scheme.
If it's multi-level gaming, can we just make sure to avoid the water level?
Boo!
We have come to the end of the episode, but I do want to do our usual highlight of the week. So let's start with you, Tyler.
Oh, I watched a movie that Jasmine was telling me to watch, and it was surprisingly fantastic. Not because I don't trust Jasmine's tastes, more just I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. It's a Hulu original, Palm Springs, and it's fucking great.
Yep.
It is fucking great. It's
something that I've been meaning to bring up on the podcast since it was released, and I just keep forgetting. And if you're watching this, don't read anything about it. Just watch Palm Springs. It's a Lonely Island film, and it's fucking great. But don't read anything about it. You will. It will improve your experience. The less you know going into it.
The only things that I knew going into it was Andy Samberg's in it, J.K. Simmons in it, and that was all I needed.
Yeah,
it's like,
right?
That sounds great. I'll watch it. And also, I guess the mom from How I Met Your Mother. But yeah, that's it. That's all you need to know. Don't look it up. Don't look at anything. It's so good, though. It's all you need to know. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I would say either that or got to play. Oh, I played this interesting game, which I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did, but it's a free game on Steam, Fistful of Frags. And it reminded me a lot of the original Red Dead Revolver, where it's more like an arena shooter kind of thing that takes place in the Old West. And it was a lot of fun, because like how the basic thing of the game. It's just you're in the Old West. You have Old West weapons, and those weapons, like, because they're old, are like a long time to reload. They're not super accurate. And you can kind of choose your loadout, and like each weapon that you get, like you can get like really good weapons, and they're like 6 stars, or you can get really shitty weapons that are like 1 stars. And yes, you're going around trying to kill everybody, but the winner is actually the one who gets the most notoriety for fighting, and you get more notoriety by using shittier weapons. So you can run around using like the best shotgun that's in there and get a whole bunch of kills, but the dude that's running around kicking people off the ledge with their boots is gonna beat you.
That's what I would do the entire time.
There are literally just people running around with their fists just punch, kicking people off ledges, and then you like run around a corner with a shotgun. There's people with bows and arrows, and it's just madness.
I mean, that makes sense. You know, like anyone could run around with a perfectly good shotgun and kill everyone really well, but the dude who's gonna actually be notable is the dude who's running around with a shotgun with the barrel pointed at bent back at himself, who's managing to kill everyone else.
Yep, exactly. And it's so funny because it's definitely an older game and one that's been around for a while, so there's a pretty good community and everything. And so there's people that are really fucking good, and like they always have like the most notoriety. It's just funny, you see those guys running around and they're just with basically their foots out the entire time. They're just they're just booting people off the fucking cliff, and it's hilarious.
If there is a shitty melee weapon in any game, I'm using it. Always, 100% of the time.
So that one's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, either one of those two things. Take your pick.
All right, on Brooks.
I don't know.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
I redecorated. And I already talked about that.
Yay!
Yeah.
In our opinion, that's a low light, but continue. How dare you change? How dare you change?
I miss Meatloaf.
Yeah. I don't believe in Meatloaf.
Child.
Hot patootie, bless my soul.
Yeah, so how about you, Dan?
The highlight of my week is my newfound resolve to come over to your house and beat you up for taking Meatloaf off of your bathroom door. Done.
It's gonna come at you like a bat out of hell.
Well, 2 out of 3 are bad. So.
I'm changing this to my highlight, by the way. These Meatloaf puns are fantastic.
Dan, is that your final answer?
Yeah, it is.
Are you sure your highlight isn't coming home from the plague?
That was last week, okay, bro?
It was technically after the podcast when you got home last week or this week.
Some week.
For me, you guys know that I kind of have battles of depression and stuff like that, and have for like a real long time. And sometimes it's like been so bad where I get like super, self-critical and shit like that. And it's hard to be motivated, and I don't know, but it's never something that I've ever thought of like in the context of other people who I know who suffer from chronic depression and things like that. Like I always minimize my own experience versus people who I know, who have, been depressed their entire lives and whatnot. But it's still something that like I've seen my friends, go to therapists and psychiatrists, and it's worked very well for them. I haven't seen anyone since I was like 8 years old. So I scheduled a telehealth with a psychiatrist on Tuesday. And it went surprisingly well. Like, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the whole telehealth thing. And I specifically picked out a psychiatrist because if, I'm open to trying drugs, if that's what it's going to take to level my chemicals or whatever. And it turned out, like, I didn't realize that, like, a psychiatrist isn't like a, hey, let's talk about it really at all. Like, she was thankful that I was as open about things that were on my mind with her because it helped her diagnose me. But she's more of a diagnose and, make a prescription kind of thing. And she said that it's textbook depression and prescribed me Zoloft. And so I started taking Zoloft on Tuesday. And it's going to be a little bit before I find out how it impacts me, like if I'm actually going to see any benefit from it, or if we need to adjust dosages or change me to a different prescription. But so far, the side effects have been minimal. I had a little nausea and yesterday, and have had a couple of headaches, but that's pretty much it. And I'm just really, I feel hopeful and relieved and excited at the prospect that my normal doesn't have to be normal. And I'm also going to be, I'm going to be doing normal therapist telehealth visits as well, like in addition to it. So it's not just, I know, like, there's no magic drug that's going to like make me feel great. But so, I'm going to combine it with regular telehealth therapy as well. And I don't know, I'm just hopeful. I'm so sick of having these like fatalist bouts of, I pour a lot of energy into, making this or any creative endeavors, and just for some reason, if anyone, says something, overtly critical about it, or if we're not seeing enough, feedback at all, or anything like that, I take that way too personally, and it has been a challenge for me. And to the point where when I'm in a depressive state and I dwell on things like this too hard, I have wanted to just say fuck it and delete everything. And I need to get myself out of those pits. And so I'm really hopeful that I'll, be able to defeat that and also be more productive and be able to get myself out of bed with less of a fight. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, that's
awesome.
The hardest part of this is that first step, taking that first step and actually getting the help that you need. And I feel like in our culture, way too many people, I mean, honestly, just kind of what you said, like you compare your trauma to other people's trauma, and because it's not as bad as other people's trauma, you disregard the trauma that you are currently going through. And I've always said it, and I'm pretty sure I've said it on the podcast, just because other people have it worse doesn't mean that you shouldn't, you're not allowed to feel bad.
Sure.
And I feel like that idea stops a lot of people from going out and getting the help. So the fact that you're actually going out there and jumping on that train and figuring things out is fucking awesome. So I'm really happy for you, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be a quick thing, but I don't know. I'm just super hopeful, and we'll see.
We're here for you.
Fuck yeah.
Sorry to make things all serious.
Now you can not be the sad gray blob in the Zoloft commercials of yore. With the rain cloud.
Yeah.
Chasing butterflies in the meadow.
But yeah, I am just super excited for any improvement, I guess. And it's obviously, I have noticed weird things that I don't know if it's placebo, like in that, I'm expecting something to start happening or not. But yesterday I spent almost the entire day in bed. And once I got out of bed, I didn't want to get back into bed. Like I felt once I actually got moving, I felt a lot more energy and a lot more motivation. And I don't know but today it was all gone again. But who knows if that was just me, reading into my own behaviors too much, knowing that certain things may be altered, or if things were actually altered.
I don't know, man. It's probably best not to overthink it, because even if it is a placebo effect, if it makes you feel better, cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
placebo.
On that super serious note, sorry about that, guys.
Very good.
Thank you, everyone, for watching and or listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Tell the Pope to wait, okay? I can't consecrate that many things in one day. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. My name is, Richard? Oh,